I'm Tammy Gallagher, DTM, and I'm standing here at Casa de Cristo Church about ready to conduct an area director forum. This is an opportunity for prospective area directors to hear more about the role. We have 3 area directors and 1 division director who will be serving on our panel. We'll be asking them questions about why they got involved and what some of the challenges were in their role that they served over the last year. If you've ever thought about leadership in Toastmasters, I highly encourage you to watch this video and to reach out to our district director, Michael Holian, at the email address below.
There are many dignitaries in this room. Each and every one of you are in my book. There is one I want to bring up front now who would also like to welcome you and tell you how proud he is of you. Help me welcome your district director, Michael Holian.
I think we all owe Leaders for Tomorrow a thank you for conducting this forum, and Hallie in particular, I thank you for putting it together. Thank you so much, Hallie. It is such a service to this district that this club does this, because you have questions. And we have questions about you. We did this a little bit over the past few years, and all of a sudden we found out that by following this up with an interview process and conducting interviews, we could really cut out a lot of time and capture you while you're still sort of got the buzz of how much fun this could be. If you get back home and start thinking about it, you'll never sign up for this job. Seriously, thank you for considering this as a service. And you are making a commitment to service in doing this. Make sure you take these people to task. Ask them every question. Don't leave any question unasked. And have a great time today. What a warm group of people, right? Yeah. Come join us. Be part of this Toastmaster leadership team that has this bond and this strength, and be part of the 2019-2020 District Executive Council. Thank you very much.
Please come in and sit down. We are sorry that we were difficult to find today, but we're so glad you found us and that you text Jim so that he could help you come to La Casa del Cristo. Yes. I forget where I am sometimes, but then Michael alluded to that earlier. For you that sent me your nomination forms and your release forms, you will be interviewed today. These are the packets that your interviewer will receive. If you did not send them to me or make up your mind until you woke up this morning, there are added forms up there on the table. Just bring them to me and we'll make sure you get your interview. Now the part that's just for you, and that is the panel. People that have experienced it, and as you can see, they lived through it. So it's not that bad. Does it require work? Well, what in Toastmasters doesn't, right? Isn't that why we're all here? We're all volunteers. How many of you are paid? Oh, okay. Then I don't feel so bad. Let me welcome our wonderful, beautiful, outgoing Tammy Gallagher, who will introduce the panel to you.
Good morning, everyone.
here. Don't take lightly this first step that you're taking to become an area director. It really is a great step forward in leadership and in your Toastmasters journey. Let me tell you just a little bit about myself so you know why I'm standing in front of you. I had my first experience with Toastmasters about 30 plus years ago when a supervisor recommended to me that I could probably benefit from the confidence that you can gain in your communication skills by joining a Toastmasters club. I did attend my first meeting sometime in the 80s. That's 1980. And I was a member probably for about 3 or 4 years. I gained so much confidence and experience. I left Toastmasters for a while, came back, and then did the competition circuit. Another way of experiencing Toastmasters. Took a little time off, came back, and then did what you're doing. Got involved with leadership. And for me, it was the most exciting portion of my journey. I was area director for Zuni 2 times and division director once for Zuni. And I continue to serve the district in any way that I can, time permitting. I may be on one of those little hiatuses every once in a while, but I do believe in the mission that we have. So, to echo Michael and Hallie's words, make sure that you do ask whatever questions you have about what's in front of you. Let me go ahead and introduce our panelists who will be providing you with some information about the Toastmasters experience. Before I do that, I wanted to just share with you a quote that I thought was very pertinent, especially when you think about the activity we did today. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. That's from George Bernard Shaw. And when you think about that, our responsibility is not only to deliver messages, but to make sure that it lands, and that the way that you're communicating is getting through to the person who's hearing. So keep that in mind today as you're listening to what's being shared. Let me start with our introductions here. I'm going to start at the far left, my far left. Allison Rideford, who's the Navajo 6 Area Director. Allison. Also serving on our panel, Joel Kodacek, Navajo 4 Area Director. Serving from Mojave 3, Michelle Zalek. And sometimes we find that we love being an area director so much we have to continue on. And we have the benefit of experience from Randy Tudor, Navajo Division Director. Let me tell you a little bit about our format today. I will be asking questions of our panelists and letting them to respond between 2 and 3 minutes. Carl Rusnock will be serving as our timer today. Carl, will you just display the cards and the timing for the responses?
I will be timing today for the panelists. You will be given 3 minutes. You'll see the first green card at 2 minutes, yellow card 2.5. At 3 minutes, I will give you the red card, and 30 seconds later, I will clap you down.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Carl. Yes. And we will clap down. So if anyone feels like they're going to get very verbose, just know that we're not a shy group. We're going to make sure that you get the message here. I will make one last comment before we get into the panel discussion. You'll see over here the lovely Don Griffith is doing our filming of today's event. If for any reason you do not want to be filmed, then cover your face. No, I'm just kidding. You can stay towards the back of the room. Primarily, this activity here will be what is filmed. I'm very nervous about paparazzi attacks. We're going to do our best to just. Is he bodyguard too? Oh no, you're paparazzi. I got it.
Where's the video going to go?
Yes.
Ma'am?
Yes,
The
please.
video will go up on YouTube, the district YouTube channel, in a little while. And I'm really only filming the front of the room. I'm not seeing anybody in the room. And that's intentional, because you haven't given permission to be filmed. If later you feel led to give a little interview, I'd love to get you on camera, and we'll make sure we get the release form from you, so we're all legal. That's completely up to you. But yes, it will be up on YouTube in a few days after we're done today.
get more information on. And I'm going to ask you this up front so that we can make sure that our panelists are listening to what it is that you're trying to get out of this. So any of our prospective ADs want to share what it is that you're looking to hear about? Anyone at all? Yes, please.
My name's Julie Miller, and I'm with the corporate club, USAA Eagles, and I'm interested in what challenges you faced working with your variety of clubs, what their issues are and how you've been able to help them, support them grow. If you've had any experiences with chapters that are near closing, if you have any strategies to help us overcome those closures.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have a hot button? You're really, I need to get this answered before I leave today. Yes, please, Lauren.
What I wanted to find out is what type of support did you receive overall from other people within the organization to help you become more successful as a leader?
Great question. Yes, please.
Mine are more technical. I need to know, how many times do you visit each club in your area? And what forms do you need to fill out? What are your deadlines? Things like that.
Oh, you'll find out eventually.
It's
We'll
all
cover that as well.
Okay.
I'd like to know, how do you deal with unresponsive officers?
Did you look at my script? Is that what you did? So would we. Fantastic. Yes, right.
Also, in response to that, and I'm Maurice Raw with Remarkable Speakers, there are difficult clubs out there, difficult personalities. So stepping into this role, I'd like to be better prepared as to what you folks have experienced to help us moving forward in those types of situations.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and get started. And there'll be opportunities, as I ask questions, I'll also pose questions for you, give you opportunities to ask questions during the panel. Okay, let's start. We'll start with you, Allison. If you wouldn't mind, tell us about your beginning as an area director. What motivated you to become an area director?
I was voluntold.
That's great.
I have an interesting perspective and come from an interesting place. I joined Toastmasters, was brand new in February of 2018. I became an area director July 1st of 2018 with 4 months experience in Toastmasters. I belong to a very strong club. So I felt like I was learning quickly. I also had a wonderful mentor in this role who talked me into doing this, Mr. Randy Tudor, and his son Kevin are both in my club. They were area directors the previous year after only having been in Toastmasters 6 months or so. 5 or 6 months. He gave me the confidence to just go for it. I learned a lot in a very quick period of time. That's my background of becoming an area director. If I can do it, any of you guys can do it.
Another story, a little bit different. Michelle, why don't you tell us about how and why you became an area director?
Hey everybody, I'm Michelle Zalek. This is my second time being an area director. So I chose Mojave, which is up north where all the pretty things are. I decided to be an area director after about 4 or 5 years of being club director, club officers. I was an assistant area director to Neil Dubay, who was my area director the year before. Trent Wood and Naomi Thomas, they were some of my mentors. They were division directors a few years before I became an area director. I was all 3 vice president roles the year before I became an area director. I watched everybody and went to a bunch of contests, did a bunch of chief judge roles. So I was very prepared, and I put it off because I didn't think I was ready to be an area director. Everyone made it seem very elite, and I had to do all the things before I became an area director. However, when I became an area director, I was very, very prepared, and nothing scared me when I was an area director. Thanks for everybody who made me do all the things before I became an area director.
All right, Joel, I'm going to ask you a different question.
Okay.
When you first became an area director, who was the one person or group of people that gave you the most support, and how did they support you?
Very easy. I was blessed with a great division director in Randy Tudor. Randy really went the extra mile for us area directors in his division in that he had a couple of different tutoring sessions. The most valuable that we had, seriously, in January as we were preparing for contest, he and Kevin got both the Navajo and the Verde area directors together and went through how do you run a contest step by step. And I can't tell you how valuable that was to us. We had a script and we were ready to go. And the Verde and Navajo contest ran very, very smoothly. Another very, very important person for me this past year has been Shelley Gabriel. And where's Shelley? There she is, right there. If you need both a master mentor and the networking queen of this district, Shelley is the person. We had some logistical issues this year that were no fault of the district. On the date of my area contest, they were having a Mojave TLI that didn't end up going off because of snow, of all things.
Yeah.
But because of that, there were a lot of people who were not available to be functionaries at the contest. Shelley got on her phone and started sending texts, and the next thing you know, we have everybody we need for a contest. So very, very grateful to those two. However, I can't emphasize enough that this district, everyone is willing to help. So you will never be left alone in this role, and you will always have a huge support system making sure that you are successful.
Right.
Mr. Tudor and your tutoring sessions. If you can think back, that was hysterical. When you think back to when you became an area director first, and then progressed on to the division director role, who was most supportive for you, either individual or a group of people?
My mentor was certainly Hallie. And Hallie, I just connected with Hallie right from the start. As soon as I became a Toastmaster, I think I first met you when I attended a contest, an area contest in March of 2017. And so she took me under her wing, and I just have always looked up to her, and I've always looked to her for guidance. But everybody has helped me. As far as becoming an area director, like Allison said, she and I both stepped in fairly quickly in our career, in our Toastmasters career. But there were lots of people to help us. Like Joel said, you're not in this alone. Everybody, whether they're past area directors, past division directors, or just people that want to get involved, there's always people to help us. So that has never been an issue for me. You just need to communicate. You need to help other people, and they'll help you. And keep the communications open. Shelley's been a great help to me, both as an area director and a division director, and lining up the support I need, lining up the people I need. And then you line up great area directors as far as being a division director, great area directors, and it's very easy. So I haven't had any huge challenges to overcome because I've had a fairly strong division. I had a fairly strong area when I was an area director. But the most important takeaway is I had lots of help from everybody.
We won't necessarily go this route, this order each time, but I'm going to go ahead and ask Allison. Before you became an area director, what was your biggest fear?
In life or in
Let's try to keep it in the context of becoming an area director.
I don't really like heights, but
Coexistential.
My biggest fear was contest. I had never attended a contest since I was brand new and been out of town for the regular contest. I'd never been to a contest. That was my biggest fear. The first contest I attended was my own, the one I managed for Joel on the same day. I felt perfectly prepared. Contest was very overwhelming for me because I didn't have a vision of it in my head. If you've never attended one, most likely you'll have an opportunity before yours happens. There are many tools out there to get you organized and get you started early. It was a lot of fun. It was work, it was a lot of fun. To second what Joel said, Randy and Kevin were amazing, providing us a script that then we passed on to some other area directors to use for their contest. Took a huge load off of my shoulders. That was my biggest fear.
All right, so that was the beginning. Let's talk a little bit more now about the nuts and bolts of the position of area director. Michelle, can you talk to us a little bit about what the specific commitments are of an area director? Some of the specific things that you need to make sure that you accomplish in your year of service.
Okay. First of all, it depends how crazy you are, but I know, right? One of the main things is to make sure that your clubs are okay and that they're functioning. You go in there, you observe what the clubs are doing at their meetings, and then you do an area director report. To answer your question, Vicki, you do one area report every semester, so once in the fall and once in the spring.
Michelle's a teacher. She's a teacher.
And then you also run an area contest. You have to go to a bunch of trainings and the district council meetings where you get to vote on something sometimes. It's wonderful. You get to sit there and it's so much fun listening to everybody give their report. And you really get a say in the district. If you need me to, do you need me to elaborate on that, or are you good? You're good? Okay.
I'm going to ask our district director, Michael Holian, if he makes eye contact with me, if he could please, and what's the word I want to use? Expand on that area of roles and responsibilities for the area director, please.
Hi again, everyone. Job one, most important job is to help your club. We'll start with the mission of the district. The mission of the district is to build new clubs and help clubs be successful. Mr. Warder there, but that's the core mission. And you, as area director, are the person on the line making sure that club is successful. That means a relationship with them. We talked about contests, it's a big thing, but reporting to them, letting them know the different things that they need to know when training is, things like that. Also, bringing them in to the different district happenings. And then another thing that we're going to talk about is your requirement. Because as I said in my introduction, we'd like you to be part of the district executive council. You have a role in the district as a district officer and a responsibility to attend 6 meetings a year. District executive council and district council meetings are part of the requirements in there. Did I forget anything? Was there something you were hoping I'd say? Come to district council. Bring food.
I think that's it. Thank you. Joel, if you can think back to, I know this is a little bit of the beginning, but it's also the nuts and bolts. If you think back to when you first started as an area director, what was some of the support that you received in onboarding into that role?
One valuable part of the onboarding process actually was attending this meeting and going through the interviews, because this is really where you have the opportunity to get your questions answered and to hear a little bit more about the role. So if you're here, you are already ahead of the game in terms of your knowledge for being an area director. We also had a meeting in July where we were all trained as area directors, and that helped get us off to a good footing as well. Although the communication really begins in the month of June, where we are given those nuts and bolts. At a minimum, an area director has to visit each club at least twice. As Michelle said, once in the fall, once in the spring. We just had a reporting deadline of yesterday. So that's one of it. It's November 30th and May 31st are when those reports are due. The district recommends that all of us visit our clubs at least 4 times though. So we're trying to raise the bar on that. And mostly that's because you don't want your clubs to see you as someone who just comes in to write that evaluation. You want to have a friendlier relationship with them. You also want to get all of those members to participate in your contest. So having that support and onboarding, and knowing that the job really starts in June and not just formally on July 1st, was really important to know to get us off to a good start.
Fantastic, thank you. Yes,
Can I add something?
of course you can.
One thing very helpful to me at the beginning, and I would encourage for all of you, is to get in contact with your outgoing area director, to get a flavor for each of the clubs. They can give you direction as to how responsive their officers at least were in the past year. I plan on whoever takes over my area, I will attend the first meeting with them of each club and introduce who the new person is so that they get to know them. But do contact your previous area director.
Great advice, thank you. Allison, I'm going to ask you to continue speaking and tell us, how many assistants are you allowed to have?
We were allowed to have assistants. You're telling me this on June 1st. There is a position called an assistant area director. If you have somebody who is interested in the next year, I would have loved to have an assistant area director. The clubs within your area would most likely see more of you if there were 2 of you. And there would be more help with things like your contest, or someone to attend a meeting if perhaps you could not attend. I did not have an assistant director, an assistant area director, but I did have a ton of support.
Just so you know, there is no limit on the number of helpers or assistants that you can have. In fact, the more people that you engage on your journey, the more people that will be prepared, as Michelle was, in taking on a role of leadership in the future. So keep that in mind, especially in those late nights when you're thinking, I've got all these things to do and I've got to do it all myself. You don't. You just have that responsibility of identifying other people around you who could help and benefit from that assistance they're providing.
Can I comment?
You may. Go right ahead.
I think the most important thing when you get to be appointed as an area director is to just make contact, like you've already heard, but to really connect with some of the officers. Make them know who you are and that you're there to help. And don't go in thinking you're going to change everything in that club. Every club is, as you know, and as you'll experience when you get to visit your 5 or 6 clubs, every club is different. They have a unique personality, and you need to respond accordingly. And if you just start out on the right foot by making contact with them early on, making sure they know who you are and who to contact if they have questions. And sometimes it takes a long time to get in touch with the new officers because you don't have availability real quick as to who they are. That usually is a delay, but you have to work hard at it. You can find out who the existing president is and get connected with the other ones. if you do that and build an early relationship, it'll help when you run into difficult clubs, because there are people there that are willing to help you. And you will run into difficult people and difficult clubs, but it can be easily overcome if you've developed a rapport with some of them in that club. And everybody wants to make their club better. So I think that if you build that relationship early on, it's going to take care of your problem clubs. You can't always save clubs. In answer to your question, some of these clubs, you know, in all honesty, they're gone. They're just hanging on, but they haven't paid yet. Their corporations might have been decimated by layoffs, and so things happen. And you can't let that worry you. You do your best for the district and for the clubs and for the members in those clubs to help support them and make them successful. But there are many cases where you just can't do it. And you just can't lose sleep over it.
You read my mind, the next section was going to be about challenges, but that's okay. There is a question from the audience. Yes,
What
please.
kind of authority do we get in Toastmasters International site as an area director? Can we look at rosters and the like?
Authority? Is that what you
Oh,
mean?
You can look at in your
As
area.
area director, you have much power.
There are, sorry, I couldn't resist. You have access to a lot of reports for the district, so all of the information for each individual club is part of a central reporting website that's hosted by Toastmasters International. It's through there, and I think there are some reports that might be on the board, display boards out there, that you can find out how your clubs are doing based on how many paid members they have and who's received communication awards, those types of things. So you are able to access information about your clubs and other clubs if you're a very competitive person. Yes.
One thing you need to be aware of is you will get locked out. For a period of time, as things are switching over, reports get locked up and you can't access them. So once you're appointed an area director, you should contact somebody, contact the area director now. Like already my incoming Navajo division director has contacted me, and so has the Verde, and they've asked us to dump the reports now. So we're dumping the reports now for them, so they won't get in that transition period. Holian has a comment.
I just want to remind people that we have realigned. It wasn't a major realignment, so some of the areas have changed which clubs are underneath. And Allison, you said that you might be working with your incoming area director. Thank you. But it may not be a one-to-one match for clubs, so you might be in contact with a couple of past area directors.
I'd like to give an opportunity for anyone else in the audience who may have a question for, since you've gotten a little bit of a flavor for our panelists and what it is that they do. Yeah, Trish, are you interested in becoming an area director?
I'm always willing to serve in some capacity. Negotiated, of course. I just want to point out that something that I learned years and years ago is that you always have access to club contact information. It's not a direct, it's not, necessarily course of mine, but if you know a club is in your area, go to find a club, look the club up, get the club's website or contact information and start there, if nothing else. So don't think that you're waiting on somebody else for contact information. If the club is publicizing themselves at all, they've got a method for contacting them, and that may be your earliest in.
Great, thank you. We'll do one more comment from Curtis and we'll go back to Pam. Go ahead.
Since Trish stood up and I recognize her for pathways, if you are working the legacy track and this is toward your DTM in the legacy track, please embrace pathways. Get comfortable with the interface, with knowing enough about it that you can share in the class.
I didn't get a chance to talk to Jim, but it's more than please.
Will.
If you're not enrolled in pathways, do not apply to be an enrolled director. Not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Must be embraced.
Okay.
All right, wait, now, we're going to go back to the panel discussion. We will have more opportunity for Q&A at the end of the session, but I want to have an opportunity to get to some of the experiences that our panelists have had that have been more challenging. That was one of the questions that were asked early on. Joel, can you talk to us about any clubs that you may have had in your area that struggled during the year and what you did to help them?
I would say 4 out of my 6 clubs all had the same problem, is that they were reaching their educational goals. And in fact, I have 2 of them right now that would be either distinguished or even select distinguished, except they don't have that magic 20 members in the club. Okay? So for those clubs, one of them is really struggling with membership, and they get a lot of guests, but they're not doing as great of a job of converting those guests to members. And so you really have to look at the club's personality and what it is they need that you can support them in. So your advice to one club is going to be very different than your advice to another club. Another club that I had, I would not classify this as a struggling club at all, but it's just part of their culture. They refuse to do manual speeches. However, their meetings are absolutely amazing. They're relevant, they are hearty, every single person in the room does table topics. And again, this club just does an amazing job at producing really relevant and interesting content. So I really can't get mad at them that they're not doing manual speeches because it's working for them. And one thing that we were trained on as area directors is that we are not there to tell the club what to do. We're there to be a guide, answer questions, and provide support, and really be that liaison to the district. But again, it is being in there early on, and as soon as July hits, you want to start doing those friendly club visits so that you can learn the club. That in turn helps you to know how to support them best.
Caitlin, I'm going to give you just a heads up question for you. Caitlin is our club growth director, and through the course of her career as a Toastmaster, and you've been area director more than once, right?
Twice. No.
I'm not sure how much you like punishment. But in that time and experience, I'm sure that you've had times where there have been difficult people that you've had to deal with. Can you share with us an experience that you've had where there's been a conflict of any type, and how it is that you've dealt with that situation?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now please.
You said you were going to give me some
Yeah.
advance.
Go.
I heard the advance. The first thing that comes to mind on the spot is we had a club when Kevin was one of my area directors. He had a club that had a club president that the rest of the club didn't like. And so it wasn't really me encountering them, but we kind of just provided guidance to the other groups of the members, because that's the body of it. If they all decided to vote the president out or wanted to move on with the club, we had to support the majority of the club. So in that situation, I guess, I didn't know I was going to be put on the spot, but
you're doing great.
That's the only thing I can think of is the club president, or there's a club officer in one of your clubs that is causing some friction or stress for the other members, to really focus on the greater group, for the greater group of the club. And that's all I got.
Fantastic. Thank you. Michelle, do you have an experience that you could share with our interested area directors that reflects a challenge that you faced and how it is that you dealt with that?
Okay. First of all, this year, I had to drive 2 hours each way to get to my clubs. That was kind of a challenge. And the things that I wanted to do, such as have area council meetings, Sedona and Prescott is separated by a mountain. And it's really hard to have a fair location. And people were constantly saying, hey, why do we have to have everything in Sedona, or why do we have to have everything in Prescott? But I made them work it out. I had some things in Prescott and some things in Sedona. It worked out. There were adults, we dealt. Another I had a few things that happened, because this is my second time. The first time I walked into my area director year, I lost a club right off the bat because their corporation said, hey, we're not gonna pay for our members anymore. And all the members saying, hey, we're not getting paid for, goodbye. And they didn't wanna do a club anymore, so I lost a club and it wasn't my fault. I almost lost another club that year, however, I told them, no, you're not going to disband, because I already lost one. So you're going to disband. You're going to still do it, and then they became distinguished that year. So it was a good time. Therefore, you get through these challenges. Just breathe and keep going. Just do the best you can, and people will follow if they think it's worth doing it. And you have to show them that it's worth keeping it up.
Great. All right, putting you on the spot, Randy. What are the requirements to become a distinguished club?
That is putting me on the spot. You have to earn check marks on the DCP goals. And 6 of them are related to educational goals. And now it's all about pathways. So it's changed a little bit, but there's still 6 of the check marks that you can earn there. And then you have to make sure that your clubs send the officers to TLI. That's an important role of the area directors, is to work with their clubs and get the people to TLI. That gives them a check mark. They have to do that twice a year to get the full check mark on that. And they have to do things on time. They have to submit their club officer reports on time. They have to, that's 8 of them. Why am I drawing a blank on the other? Oh, dues, of course. We all know about dues. So they have to get those in. And then like Joel said, so many times what we run into is we have people with goals, but they can't be distinguished. They have all their check marks except one, and that is members, new members. So you have to either increase your base by 5 or have 20 active members in order to get that check mark. So those are the 10 check marks from DCP. And as area directors, you try to work and encourage people. I came in and I had one president say, with very foul language, I don't give a damn about DCP. I'm going to present a nice club, and if we have a good club with a good environment, the check marks are going to follow. He went to his first TLI right after becoming president, and all of a sudden DCP became very important to him, and they made presidents distinguished that year. So you just work with people and encourage them. The first step is to get them to TLI, and then let the officers see how rewarding and how challenging and fun it might be to work with their clubs to get the DCP goals.
Fantastic. Yes, but stand up. Keep standing up, please. Not going to let you sit down yet. That's great. And someone had asked the question early on about what were the tactical things that are required. What Randy's just provided for you is all part of the education that you'll receive as an area director of those things. But the extended question that I'm going to ask you, Randy, is what's the reason why we have a Distinguished Club program? What's the benefit of all of those check marks?
Well, in my opinion, if most of those items get checked off, you're going to have a vibrant club. So when the clubs go ahead and get their members, we all know that when you are a member of a club that has 20 or more members, it's usually not very difficult to get a significant amount of people at the meetings and all the roles filled before the meeting. So that's important. And to get TLI training, again, for the same reason I just said with my president that said he didn't want to have anything to do with it, he didn't understand it, he didn't care about it. But once they see that, then they see that that's a part of being a good club as well. So I think it's all about getting to be a better club.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, let's just sit down. The Distinguished Club program and the tracking and all of that is a tool for you. It's a tool to be able to know where your clubs are standing and what kinds of activities they're involved in. But truly, as a member, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Hopefully, your members are giving speeches, they're attending meetings, they're reaching out to try and develop those skills that are answering the question of why are you a Toastmaster? That's truly what DCP should be overlaying about the club experience and about the individual experience. We always have to remember, even as we get this high position as area director, that we are revered as everything good. That it's still about the members. It's all about the members and making sure that their club experience is benefiting them. All right, we've talked a little bit about the beginnings, the nuts and bolts, our challenges. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits of the job. What's in it for me? What is it that you will get out of your experience as an area director? Allison, you have anything to share with us?
There were many benefits for me for becoming an area director. One was learning about Toastmasters very quickly. I needed to become an expert. I did not share with any of my clubs that I had just joined. I needed to present myself, and they expected a leader. They expected me to have answers. There are answers out there. Randy was helpful. Many of the people in this room were helpful. TLI, really helpful. Very helpful for me. If you've never been as an officer, go as an area director. It was very helpful to me. I forgot the question.
The benefits of the job.
The biggest benefit for me were the people that I met. I really enjoy my clubs. I went in with an attitude of, I am here to help you, I am not here to judge you. If you go in presenting yourself as, I'm the authority and I'm going to tell you what to do or what you're doing wrong, that won't get you to start. My clubs, Toastmasters is filled with people who want to improve themselves. And people who want to improve themselves are friendly and receptive to suggestion. The people I've met, both at the district level and within my clubs, has been the biggest benefit for me. And the opportunity to practice my own public speaking in front of other clubs, in front of you all today. That's not something I would have been excited about a year ago. Many times at your club visit, if they don't have enough functionaries, they'll ask you to be the general evaluator for the meeting. Because they want your suggestion. It's like table topics on steroids. Wonderful experience.
401k matching?
Well, here's the deal. You know how much you get paid as a Toastmaster, to Holly's point, right? We double your salary. You get that doubled again as a division director. And then once you're up to district director, well, we can't talk about that. Fantastic. Toastmasters Leadership Institute. What?
Inverted pyramid.
A circle. Is this a game, a word association? The members are key. Yes.
I can speak to that.
Yes, go right ahead.
So I will add to the benefit to self, and I will also talk about our inverted pyramid because I actually taught my clubs about that as well. I was a club president before I became an area director. And when I was club president, I have the same attitude as many, which is, okay, you're the area director, that's great. I really don't need you. Okay? But yeah, you're welcome to come and do your thing. Becoming an area director taught me how wrong that really was. We are truly all in this together. And while my club was President's Distinguished that year, I really wish that I had utilized the services of the area director and of the district more. It would have helped us to deliver better contests. It would have helped us in our member retention efforts. And really, the area director position has helped me to finally fully understand why we have a district and why the district is so important to supporting our clubs. With that in mind, I want to direct everyone's attention to the whiteboard in the back here. Okay. And I actually did teach my club presidents about this when we met. Our structure is really an inverted pyramid. Okay? Our district director is at the very bottom, and everything goes up. Okay, so our district director and our trio are supporting the division directors. The division directors are supporting the area directors. The area directors are supporting the club officers, and the club officers are supporting the people at the very top who are the club members. If you remember nothing else today, remember that inverted pyramid and what we're really trying to do. We are trying to put our members at the very top and work towards their success and achievement. So if we remember that, we will be successful as a district.
I just want to say, as an area director, you have a real opportunity to change the district. By being involved in leadership, you're one of 47 people that are area directors. And you get to work closely with the division directors and get to know the trio, the top 3 in the district, and work closely with them. And you can affect change, and that's what we need. And so you have an important part of that. If you're a president of a club, you get a vote when you go to district council meetings. If you're a VPE, you also get a vote. But if you're area director, you get another vote. So if you happen to be president and area director, then you'll get 2 votes to go vote for a candidate. And just to give you an idea, at this last election that we had in May, for those of you that weren't there, one of the votes came down to 115 to 88. So that's about a swing of 14 votes. You can have an impact. You can change things in the district by being an area director. So I think that's an important part to remember.
I'd like to talk a little bit about Toastmasters Leadership Institute, and because it has been mentioned as one of the benefits of your participation as an area director. How many of you have attended TLI sessions before? Okay, a good number of you. Our incoming program quality director, Peter Salazar, has been a presenter at TLI. Can you tell us a little bit, Peter, about the value and the importance of TLI?
Thank you for that question. In order for you to be successful as members and as club leaders, you deserve to be trained, right? You can't do anything blindly. I remember when I first came on as area director, I was a club coach, and it was June 25th. And I was visiting clubs, and I went to this one club, and I met a certain person named Hallie Adams. And she said, by the end of the meeting, she said, hey, you'd be a great area director. And at that point, I had learned to control my ums, but for 1 second, I said, and I blinked. And Hallie gave me an application. And I was scared. I was like, I don't know much about Toastmasters. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I signed it anyway. And at that point, I was nervous, but as she said, there was training. I met a lot of great people. That's where I first met Connie and Tammy and even Carl. And together, we were trained under a division director. And we learned. We helped each other out. We went to TLI to support our clubs. We received that training. We received area director training. And this whole time, I was scared. I was nervous that I wasn't going to do the right job. I was nervous that I wasn't going to support the district, that I was going to let the clubs down. But the whole time, Tammy was always at my side, supporting me any way that she could. And in return, I was at her side, supporting her in any way that I could. TLI, area director training, all this stuff is there to help us become better Toastmasters, to ensure that we're carrying out the Toastmaster mission. And I know some of you are a little bit nervous. You're thinking, should I do it? Do I have the capacity to go to all these clubs, to fill out an area visit report? I don't even know what it's for. Is it really that important? It is. It's very important. Going to TLI, going to area director training, talking to your clubs. I don't know if it was Joel or Randy that said it, making a friend in the club, even if it's not the president, somebody will listen to you and get help. It's all worth it. It all helps us build high-quality clubs, which in the future will lead to more members staying, more members growing, and it'll help the club mission, which is to provide a high-quality environment, positive learning environment for people. And then the district mission, which is to build clubs. Answer your question?
Fantastic. We'll pause now and ask if there are questions from our audience. Steve?
Yeah, Tammy, a number of years back, I used to be invited to area council meetings. I led area council meetings, and I haven't heard it discussed, or maybe it was like one of those words of the day where someone said it, but you didn't hear it. I'm not sure I heard it today. Is that still part of the best practice for area directors?
Fantastic question. Thank you, Steve. Go ahead, Michelle.
I really wanted to be part of the best practice. It was hard for me, but when I was the area director the first time, I made sure it happened. And when you see an area council meeting, or when you have an area council meeting, what happens? All these people who have strength in one area and strength in another area, they talk to each other and they help each other. I remember I was lucky enough to have Don Griffith at my area council meeting, and I had a phone a friend right there. It was great. I know that there are some clubs that were struggling on membership, and he had lots of really wonderful things to say about that. There's a lot of other people that had strengths in other areas as well, so they helped each other. And it's just a very awesome thing to have, and it can make the difference between sometimes being distinguished and not having a club being distinguished.
I'd like to call on David Hopper to answer that question as well. David is from Tucson and has served as area director as well as division director and is our incoming club growth director. So can you tell us your experience with the committee, the executive committee?
Like Michelle, the area council committee can definitely help the clubs in your area. You can draw on this experience from strong clubs to help the weaker clubs. I've had some problems sometimes getting that together. Some people don't show up. One of the things that I did when I was an area director is I actually had guest speakers come in. So I would have we're going to focus on membership and have a speaker come in and talk about membership for 5 to 7 minutes, and then they could ask questions about them. Or I'd have a focus on whatever the topic was. So bringing in other experts can also help kind of keep those council meetings together.
Thank you. I will just share with you that it is a challenge to bring people together and finding the right time to actually conduct a council meeting. But it is well worth it. And what I would tell you, for those of you who actually do become area directors, to do whatever is in your power to try and have one of those, if not every month, then every other month. Because you are setting the tone then for the next generation of area directors. Because they'll remember in their minds, oh yeah, we used to get together with the other clubs and we would exchange information. It was really good, and we had pizza and it was lots of fun, whatever. So you set the standard for the next generation, as well as for the experience that your club presidents and officers are going to have. Yes.
You said pizza. Is there a budget?
No, there is not. You can do potluck. You can do have it sponsored by someone. Does everyone know about the donation letter? Okay. There is a letter that is printed every year and signed by the district director. And because we are a 401c, is that what it is? 501c3 C3PO
Tax exempt.
Thank you, DJ. I appreciate that. Because we are a tax exempt organization, you can solicit donations from retailers or providers, food providers. Shelley, I think, has gone off and for many of the events that we have asked for donations for bagels and coffee and that type of thing. By going out into the community, meeting the managers of stores or Jimmy John's or whatever establishment that you might seek food from, presenting the letter, you might be able to establish a relationship that if you donate the food for this event, we'll put your name on a flyer. We will tell all of our friends to eat at your restaurant. So it's a give and take arrangement.
Where do we get this letter?
Is it available on the website? I got it from Shelley. Shelley gives me everything. Yes, but it is available on the website, I believe. make sure we get a new one when the year turns over, July 1st.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Can I just add a comment to
Yes.
what you were just saying?
Of course.
One of the things when I was an area director is you will find that there's a lot of people, especially in the community, that are willing to help and support all of these events. And just like the flyer and putting their name on the flyer, I also brought in a list of the clubs that I supported, and I always went to the retailers near them and asked them for any open club to put it on their employee bulletin boards and explain to them the benefits of Toastmasters and how it would help their employees and help their company. I just wanted to share that.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask the area directors one more question, and then I'm going to throw it open to you for a Q&A. So be gearing up for anything else that you still want to ask about. And this is going to go to each one of you and our division director. For your year of service, what was your greatest joy?
My greatest joy by far was the people that I met. I've been surrounded by very supportive, outgoing people, officers who really care about their clubs. The more you attend your individual club meetings, the more enjoyment you will get out of this position. I don't know how many times I went to my club meetings. I've lost count. Many more than just 2 times a 6-month period. I like them. I'm going to miss them. Some of the clubs that aren't corporate, I may go attend during the next year because I enjoy the people. By far the greatest joy I got out of this position.
My greatest joy this year was putting on the area speech contest. Okay. Now, one thing you need to know if you are going to be an area director, how many of you have competed in contests before? Okay. Womp womp, as area director, you're not allowed to be a competitor all year long. And I really didn't like that. But I'm here to tell you, I got as much joy putting on that contest and watching my club members compete and just see a lot of light bulbs go off than I did being a competitor myself. Okay? I told you about my club, never went to TLI, didn't give manual speeches, could not be less interested in the district. That club brought more people to the club contest than any of my other clubs combined. And one of their members won the evaluation contest and went on to the division. I can't tell you what a seed that plants and how great that is. And you really feel so much pride doing that. And so I'm going to continue to go back to competing because I love it. But if I'm asked to be a judge or be a functionary, I will enjoy that just as much.
You do realize you can't compete and be a judge, right?
Correct.
Okay. Because you can't perform and then run down there and get yourself a high mark. So I just want to make sure it's clear.
Yes.
Michelle, greatest joy.
Oh, I have so many. First of all, I've gone on so many road trips with those guys back there. Thanks for driving every time, Curtis. I just love spending time with my fellow area directors, and you feel very supported when people are willing to go 2 hours north to help you. It's very wonderful. Thank you, Hallie. There's a lot of people in this room that actually went to my contest. And I really appreciate just everything that they do. Also, building relationships with people that live 2 hours away. I have excuses to go up to northern Arizona now. It's so exciting. And when I go there, there will be people to greet me and have lunch with or something. And it's just great just being around all these wonderful people. But I think the greatest joy is, it is stressful to be an area director sometimes. And sometimes there were times when I got really emotional. And then the people around me sometimes also got emotional together. But the thing is, we were emotional all together, and then we all built each other up. That is probably the greatest joy. And Curtis was the therapist through the whole thing. We all turned into diamonds, and it's going to be wonderful.
Randy, your greatest joy as a division director.
Like everybody else has said, the building of relationships is what I've enjoyed the most. But also in developing those relationships, you have an opportunity to mentor people and to watch people grow. Just in the year that you're an area director or the year that you're a division director, you get to watch the transition of people, especially as they transition into leadership. And my area directors, watching them, not that they weren't good in the beginning, but they got so much better in the 1 year. And just watching them and being part of that was incredible and probably brought me the most joy. But all the relationships, all the hundreds of people that I've met around the state, and just club members, club officers, and division people, district people. It's been a great joy, and I'll miss being part of that. I've done it 2 years in a row now as area director and now division director, and that is certainly what I'm going to miss.
I just have the urge to tell you about one of the big benefits that I got as an area director and going to visit clubs is the chance to steal ideas. Yes. You go to a club and do something different and unique, or take a twist on something that you just didn't think of that way. We now do in Leaders for Tomorrow at the end of every meeting a mentor minute. I stole that from a club visit that I had done. I love that idea that you take nuggets of wisdom that you have from Toastmasters and you share it with everyone and challenge them to learn something new, to do something new. You also have the opportunity to say, I know that this particular thing wouldn't necessarily work in my club, but it might help that other club that I've gone to visit, and they need something to spark things up. You get ideas for table topics, you get ideas for how to run different and unique meetings, how to different themes. It's a great stealing place. Use it to your advantage. What's in it for me? It's something else that you can bring back to your club. With that, let me throw the questions back out to you. Are there any additional things that you'd like to hear about this, please?
Is the schedule different now for the contests and the conference? Is there still 2 contests or just 1 a year now?
Excellent question. Who wants to take it?
Well, there's only one at the leading up to the conference, district conference. When I became an area director, that's one of the challenges we had is right out of the gate, we had to start doing contests, getting ready for fall. So now you have a little more time to lead into that and get prepared for the contest, but there is only one contest.
It's only in the winter, spring period.
Correct. Although, there is some discussion about doing some informal contests and things. Maybe that'll happen, but right now officially there's only one.
And there's 2 contests within that season, right?
Right,
So there's
there'll be
always
2
the
contests.
international contest and then something else. I don't know if we've planned what the next something else is.
Yeah, what will it be?
Yeah. Great question.
That's a good question.
Does anyone in our district leadership, have we picked what the next
Yeah,
set
it's
of
going to be
contests
the
will be?
Shakespearean song.
Oh, fantastic. Love it. Yes. Edwin.
I would like to say, when you're as an area director, work with your other area directors. When I was in Shelley's team as an area director, we had 6 of us, and we worked together as a team. If one couldn't help, couldn't go one place, the other covered. When we came down to our contest, it wasn't just, oh, you're by yourself. You call your other area directors. Can you help? What can you do? What can I do for you? And if that doesn't fit, if you can't do that, ask your area division director. That's what they're there for. To help you as a team and a family to get everything done so you can be successful, even on the club level.
Does everyone here know who the incoming division director is?
I'm going to introduce them.
Okay, good. We'll get to that.
Yes. Yes, Lana.
What time frame is that area contest?
When were they held this year?
March.
March.
So the area in March, generally
February, March.
February, March.
Yeah,
February, March timeframe?
Club is February then?
No,
January.
January.
August, January.
Or before the area contest anytime.
February, March is generally when the areas are scheduled. April is when the division contest will be. And then we typically have our conference in May. And May is where the district contest is.
Of January area, March,
No, January is club.
January club.
February's area.
Oh, February is there.
February.
Depending on the snowfall.
A question from Jermaine, yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm your
Incoming,
I'm
district-
the what? Incoming what?
yeah, incoming district
Incoming
director.
district director, and I'm the guy at the bottom. I get paid the most. Now, what I wanted to add about was contests. Even though we only have one contest per year, I would recommend and advise, maybe suggest, that the incoming area directors suggest to their clubs to have a practice area contest in the fall. They can get credit from their clubs as, the clubs picking, judges and contest managers. They can still get credit for their leadership projects, for whatever projects they're working on, whether it's in pathways or in their traditional program. So it's a good practice in the fall. It doesn't have to be formal, but follow the procedures and guidelines in the speech contest. And it's just for fun, and it's a practice. So that's what I would suggest and recommend in preparation for this spring.
Great.
One of the panel members to address the average time commitment.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I make sure that we got that.
An hour.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Who wants to respond? I'll leave it up to you guys. Go ahead, Allison. What's the time commitment like as an area director?
I was going to bring that up if the question was not asked, because it's important to know how much time you're going to be putting toward this. One of the biggest commitments that you need to think about is the meetings, the 6 meetings that you are required to attend during the year, 3 in the first half, 3 in the second half. They're on Saturdays. They typically run 4 hours for the training and then another 2 hours or so for the district executive council meeting.
They are all day long.
They go all day long, and they are on Saturdays. If you're a person who's out of town every weekend, you're going to miss out. It's very important to be able to attend those meetings. I was warned about that before I started, and I appreciated being warned about that. It was something I wanted to give thought to. Are there things that I do on Saturdays that I'm willing to miss out on? And I did. Outside, that is, to me, one of the biggest time commitments. Preparing for your speech contest takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work. A lot of that time is emailing, trying to get people to help you and arrange all of that, but that takes time. Outside of that, it is your visits to your clubs. If you have to travel 2 hours for a 1-hour meeting, that's all day. I'm fortunate that my work schedule is flexible, so I was able, fitting in the club visits was not a difficult thing for me. Clubs meet at all different times, sometimes only once a month, sometimes only twice a month. It just takes a lot of planning on the front end to make sure you're able to at least go see your clubs a few times each 6-month period. It's a time commitment. It has been worth it though.
We're going to have one more response, and then we do have some raffle prizes and some wrap-up activities we need to do in order to get us out of this room and into interviews, which will be happening directly following this meeting at 11 o'clock. So, with that, Michelle?
It really depends on the time of year that you're talking about with the time commitments. When you're in contest season, I was one of the crazy people though. I went to a contest all day, every Saturday. Because the thing is, I wanted to help my fellow area directors and division directors have successful contests as well. And to have that happen, they need people. And I just really think it's very important that you help your fellow area directors out. So that takes a lot of time, but the thing is, it is worth it when you see them happy and they have a good contest. But it's a wonderful time. You have to have fun doing this. And then, of course, you call your club members sometimes, and sometimes they want to talk about their club forever. And that's okay, because you want to help them, and you want them to get their goals. So whatever time you invest is totally worth it. Great.
I'm going to ask one more time from our prospective area directors, are there any other questions you have? All right. Thank you all for your time and attention. With that, I'm going to hand it back over to our lovely hostess, Hallie Lenz.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tammy. Isn't she wonderful? They've been great. I love the honesty that all of you gave today. You're letting people know what's ahead for them, and you've been honest about it, and I appreciate that. I would like the division directors that are here stand as I call your name and remain standing, please. Barbara Schumacher. Barbara is Mojave. Congratulations, Barbara. Curtis Henson, Navajo. Sororo. And Weston Tonto. Aaron Hewitt, who is going to be Birdie. The other directors that are not here. Angelina. Yeah. She is doing agave. Thank you so much. I want you to do the interviews. You will each get at least one, maybe two of the area directors to interview. They will not necessarily be going into your area. So pick carefully for these that you see standing, because they know who you are. So pick wisely. And I thank you very much. It's going to be a busy year, and you will be a big contributor to it. Thank you. I would like to ask our incoming district director to say a few words before I close, please. Help me welcome Jim Eng.
Good morning, everyone. Hi. Morning. I just want to let you know, for those who do not know, I've been in Toastmasters 13 years now. When I first started, I was a shy, timid person. Look what Toastmasters has transformed me into. A crazy maniac. And I told everyone at the district council meeting that please don't vote for me because that's what my wife said. And she told me this morning, she said, I wish I could be there today to tell you you voted for the wrong person. But I am thrilled to be here.
I want to add excitement, change. I want our district to be a successful and distinguished district. A few announcements I'd like to share because Michael just shared it with me. It's OT Modi time. OT Modi, Outstanding Toastmaster of the Year. It's where we can nominate ourselves or someone else who we felt has done extraordinarily to support the district for the past year and to be recognized as the Outstanding District Toastmaster of the Year. I believe this is already on the website. Yes, on the carousel. Please take a look, log in, not log in, but you can download the application form. The deadline is July 15th, July 15th.
And if you're an area director, you cannot be.
And if you're currently an area director, you cannot, correct?
Right, so
Okay.
apply this year.
The other announcement is convention. It's in Denver in August.
21st to 24th?
21st to the 24th. You can go online and take a look at that. That's the two announcements that I want to make. And Curtis? TLI. Oh, yes, TLI. TLI, DJ, why don't you share a few words then?
The third grade in Lake Havasu at the library, and it's July 20th.
July 20th.
Right.
Okay. All right, thank you.
TLI, members and officers, working together is success. Woo! Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. According to Henry Ford, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress, and working together is success.
Yes.
Please, please, area directors to be, whether you end up being area directors or not, sign up to come and be part of TLI. The training is June 8th in Tucson and June 15th here in the Valley. It's going to be at Copper Point, downtown Phoenix here in the Valley. If you're area directors, I want you to come. I need your help. I need about 30 people for each event in order to pull this off. Am I going to get 30 people for each event? You darn tootin' I am. If I have to pull Shelley in and say, call all your friends. But I want to make sure that the people are trained properly for the event. So I want you to come to the 15th and learn how we're changing up TLI. A lot of you said you'd been to TLI before. I want you to know that it's going to be different this time. The one thing I've heard over and over again is the sessions were too short. So guess what? They are now an hour long each.
Wow.
We put one less session on and extended the 3 sessions, so that they're an hour long each. You think you'll get the information you need in an hour? I hope so. And there's going to be a lot of questions and answers. Curriculum is all together. We've got all of the slots filled. Everything's good. We're working towards the finish line, which actually happens on June 29th. The first TLI is June 29th in the East Valley. They're all on the calendar. Looking forward to seeing every one of you.
Okay, thank you, DJ. I'd like to share a quick tip for success. It's all about attitude. Attitude, positive attitude. When I took up on this job, I had no idea what I got myself into. When Michael said, hey Jim, what do you want to be a PQD? I said, I don't know. It's the same thing. I didn't know what I got myself into in organizing the spring conference. It was a success. And all I can say is it was all about just being positive and knowing that there are people out there willing to help and support you. The other thing, last thing before we depart for the interviews, and remember, there's lunch Don't worry, we are going to get fed. Yes, that's one of the fringe benefits I get, food. The other thing is, I want to let the incoming area directors know, you have to remember, if you get appointed, you have to make sure you understand, you have to do your job or you will and may not get credit, service credit. If you don't do your job, you will not get credit, and I will let you know that. Because I need your support, because without you doing the groundwork, we cannot be a successful district. That's very important. But we're all here to help each other, working together. I am here at the bottom. I'm looking up to all of you, and I'm there to support you. I'm really strong. Now, okay, that's what I have to say. Let's go forward to
outgoing club growth director, Caitlin Ewan. Welcome our incoming club growth director, David Hawkins. Our outgoing program quality director, and our incoming program quality director, Peter Salazar. I thank all of you so much for coming, giving up your Saturday to do this. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much. Enjoy lunch, and I will be handing out the packets for the interviewers during your lunch. Enjoy.